Hi. Okay, this is my response to Zaccheus Adedeji's recent TV interview, which he granted a TV network, where he spoke glowingly about President Tinubu's economic achievements. Anybody listening to him would have thought President Tinubu deserved a Nobel Peace Prize or a Nobel Prize in governance or economics. But before then, take a minute and watch this video. Watch.
Net exporter of PMS product. This is adding value. This is giving to that the same decision I'm telling you. If Mr. President has not removed subsidy, there is no way refinery will work. Because if you produce and you are not government producing, it's private, and you cannot sell it at market-driven price, how would that happen? Do you know the implication of that? And then if you look at it, which is what you see in revenue. When we came on board, 2023, the total allocation monthly is around 700 billion. Today, we are sharing 4.5 trillion. This is 530%. And people are talking about food economy. People are talking it's not reaching people. Well, how many times have you heard now that a state governor, I was Commissioner of Finance 11 years ago, will come here and say we are looking for support to pay salary. We are looking for bailout in your hand. How many times have you heard that happening in the last 3 years? So I think what Mr. President deserves now is support, is commendation for his courageous decision to be a statesman and not a politician. And that is when it is.
I would rather vote for a person that has not done it once. Tinubu has sure Shege. I would rather vote for a person that has not done it once. I can never vote for Tinubu again for my second time. I will never.
You voted for him last time?
Yes. But I know that our vote does not count because they will manipulate it. They will find their ways. But I would rather will not vote for Tinubu again. I will never.
You guys, you fat pass like this before?
Before.
You get body?
The time when Tinubu enter like this, I start.
You shrink?
House rent. We can't avoid it again. Graduates doing PS on the road.
Graduates!
Okay, so that was Mr. Zaccheus Adedeji, the Nigerian Revenue Service chairman, and obviously, perhaps, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's unofficial chief economic advisor, speak on Sunday, 9th August, on the great and wonderful achievements of President Tinubu. And I was thoroughly disappointed. And that's actually stating it mildly. Why? Zaccheus Adedeji played one of the oldest governance tricks on hapless Nigerians, including, sadly, his host on that TV network. There's this English word called sophistry. And here's the Cambridge Dictionary definition of the word, and I quote, sophistry is the use of clever, misleading, or false arguments that sound true on the surface, but are actually unsound or designed to trick people. It values winning an argument or persuading an audience over actual truth or facts. End of quote. In essence, or speaking plainly, what Zaccheus Adedeji did is simply gaslighting Nigerians. Mr. Adedeji is a gaslighter, a reality distortionist, a spin master, or in short, a big fat liar. You know, I don't deal in insults, but intellect, using factual arguments. So let's get into some facts. Now, what are the strategic drivers of present day economic day? What are the strategic drivers of present day economic reality of Nigerians? There are three strategic decisions President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took when he assumed office. In fact, the first one he took on day one, as was being sworn in at the Eagle Square, he took the first decision. First decision, PMS subsidy removal, that is fuel subsidy removal. Number two, naira devaluation through the unification of the exchange rates or the currency to the dollar. Number three, electricity tariff hike. And then, of course, you might add another one, the fourth one, diesel, the price of diesel, which has gone up astronomically. Consequence on these four strategic decisions, a domino effect ensued. Number one, inflation rate shot through the roof. Two, this triggered massive spike in the prices of goods and services. And third, resulting in drastic reduction of the purchasing power of the Nigerian naira, the currency. And then lastly, the consequence of these three is the erosion of Nigerians' quality of life. But let me give practical context to avoid the error of empty rhetoric and simplistic generalizations. So, borrowing Mr. Zaccheus Adedeji's performance evaluation template, which he used on the TV program, where were Nigerians before President Tinubu's government? Where were Nigerians economically before President Tinubu's government assumed office, as compared to where we are now? I mean, in terms of personal and household economy. So here's a short list, and I'll run through it, quickly. Number one, a liter of diesel, 2023 maybe April, was around 800 to 900 naira. Today is 1,800 naira. A liter of PMS or fuel was 185 naira. Today is 1,400 naira. The foreign exchange rate of the naira to the dollar was 460 of official rates, or 750 in the black market. Today is 1,400 naira to a dollar. Electricity, cost of electricity units per kilowatt hour was 66 naira in 2023. Today is 210 naira. A bag of rice, 2023, may cost about 40 to 50,000. Today, even in spite of massive importation of rice, because that's what they've gifted people all over the place. So the price of a bag of rice has risen to about 80 to 90,000 naira per bag of rice. A bag of beans, maybe 300% increase. A loaf of bread that used to be 700, 800 naira, 2023, is now about 2,000 naira. I mean, healthy, safe bread, between 1,500, 2,000 naira, depending on where. And of course, check the prices of fruits, apples, bananas, pineapple, watermelon, astronomical increase. I mean, an apple now is at 500 naira for one. Crate of eggs, 2022 used to be, 2023 used to be about 1,000, 1,500. Today is between 5,000 and 6,000 for a crate of eggs. A kilo of fish, maybe 8 to 10,000. Kilo of beef, maybe 8 to 10,000 as well. Cooking oil, 300% increase or 400% increase from 2023 today. Cooking gas used to be 12,000 or 13,000. Today is about 25,000, 26,000, depending on where. Airtime data increase from 2023 to today, maybe about 300 to 400% increase. Prices of drugs, pharmaceutical products, especially antibiotics and the rest of them. Drugs for diabetes, for comorbidities, and all of those high blood pressure drugs, and so on and so forth. Between 200 and 500% increases. Cost of transportation, general transportation, especially for small and medium workers, 300% increase. Cost of airfare. This is actually very interesting, because 2023 used to be about 35 to 50,000 to get you a one-way ticket to Lagos. Now it's about 200,000 naira one-way ticket, from Abuja to Lagos, Abuja to Port Harcourt, and the rest of that. School fees, primary to university, astronomical spike even in public schools, let alone private schools. Private schools sometimes 1,000% increase. Bag of cement between 4,000 in 4,000, 5,000 in 2023. Now it's about 12,000. Rent has gone up, about 300% increase, 200% increase, depending on where. School fees, like I said, hospital consultation fees through the roof. Now, that was just a brief. So, what has the decisions taken by President Tinubu, the economic decisions, how has it impacted inflation? But what is inflation? So, the general definition of inflation is a general increase in the prices of goods and services over a period of time. Because when inflation happens, the purchasing power of money goes down. What money is able to buy, what a unit of currency is able to buy, reduces. This means each unit of your currency buys fewer goods and services than it did before. So, in consequence, or as a result of this definition, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, loves to tout huge revenues generated since they came into office, and what is shared through the Federal Allocations Accounts Committee, to the three different tiers of government, federal, state, and local governments. Zaccheus Adedeji in that interview said, they were sharing 700 billion before they came in. Now it has jumped to 4.5 trillion naira, like 5,000% increase. He was thumping his chest, boasting, and all of that. Yeah, that's true, but that is another grand deception. is such a huge deception. Why? Because inflation has weakened and eroded the Naira's purchasing power. Today, as I speak here, you need at least between 300% to 500% more money to buy what you used to buy before today, August 12. What you could buy with 1,000 naira, or let's say 5,000 naira in 2023, you need at least 15 to 20,000 to buy the same, item or quantity of food or services as what you used to pay, as against what you used to pay in 2023. I mean, like I said, look at the case of airfares. If we're paying 50,000 for airfares, now you're paying 200,000, 250,000. That's 400 to 500% increase, and this is a fact. So, and let me give just one fact, again, another fact to debunk Adedeji's outlandish claims on that interview. Why, if the government is making so much money, then why the massive borrowings since inception of this administration? I mean, if you're making so much revenues, why are you borrowing so much more than all your predecessors put together in just 3 years? President Tinubu's government has borrowed so much money than all his predecessors put together, at least since 1999. Yes, and I may say, President Tinubu increased minimum wage from 30,000 to 70,000, but also inflation has made that increase useless and meaningless. Again, you may say, okay, they did NEL fund, the students' loan scheme. My only response to the NEL fund is that it's a brainless idea, but that's a subject or a topic for another day. Now, I'd love to pose a few questions to the president and his economic team. Number one, how many jobs have been created in 3 years? How many jobs, real jobs, created in 3 years? How many out-of-school children have been lifted off the streets and off the clutches of kidnappers, bandits, and insurgents? How many children have been lifted off the streets? 3, how many extremely poor people have been lifted out of poverty since assumption of office? 4, how many low to medium scale houses have been built, and who are the allottees, and where are these houses, and who are the allottees? Final question, how many megawatts, and this is very important, how many megawatts of electricity has been added in real terms? How many megawatts of electricity has the Tinubu administration added to the national grid in 3 years? In real terms, how many megawatts of electricity? Because this last one is very important. You ask any business owner, whether small scale or medium scale or large industries, manufacturing, ask them their cost of energy, their cost of electricity on a monthly basis, and you will realize what immense damage the president's economic policies have wreaked on Nigeria's economy. You see, I actually do not blame Zaccheus Adedeji for his deceit on national television. In my neck of the wood where I come from, my ancestors would say, I seen Leolongbo, because the reason why Zaccheus Adedeji could come out and spin all those nonsense he was saying on television was because the intellectuals, especially economists, who are sound, who understand these things, have refused to be quiet for whatever reasons, I don't know. Apart from them, I also blame the opposition for their failure and gross incompetence. Because since Adedeji did that show of shame on television, I've not seen a single member of the opposition come out to debunk those outlandish, claims, responding to him line by line, with facts, just as I did or as I'm doing here, and that's a huge shame. Guess what? The inescapable fact that stares us and confronts us, starkly, is that the Tinubu administration's economic decisions or economic policies have ruined businesses, either small, medium, or large scale. It has destroyed lives, created millions of acutely poor, miserable, jobless, and hopeless Nigerians, and it has caused massive economic hemorrhaging since assuming office. There is no amount of lies, gaslighting, whitewashing, and reality distortion that can simply change, these grim facts. Like I said, you just ask any business owner, anybody do any business. Ask parents, fathers who have mouths to feed. Ask them how it's been in the last 3 years. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.